Annual housing market for 150,000 units opens, skipping traditional methods and going straight to advanced construction techniques. A race for speed with PC modular housing. Episode 39, North Korea Construction Industry Strategy, Creating the Miracle on the Taedong River. North Korea's Workers' Party can do a market economy. Once North Korea enters a market economy following denuclearization, a market for the construction of 150,000 housing units annually will open up. By bypassing traditional construction methods and adopting PC modular construction as the national standard from the outset, we realize a reprologue of construction that immediately applies the world's most advanced techniques without dependence on conventional methods. This choice is the most critical strategic decision determining the competitiveness of North Korea's construction industry 20 years from now. We link construction to self-sufficiency in building materials and to resources. By directly connecting global resources such as magnesite, limestone, steel, and graphite to the building materials industry, we establish a self-sufficient supply chain for building materials that is free from import dependency. This is the key path for North Korea's construction industry to evolve beyond a simple construction sector into a vertically integrated industry encompassing resources, building materials, and construction. Through rapid, low-cost supply, we solve housing problems, create jobs, attract foreign currency, and achieve regional balance. Through a leap in construction methods, we bypass traditional masonry and immediately apply digital twin-based modular construction to rebuild North Korea into the world's youngest and most modern city-state. Although North Korea possesses an abundant labor force and rich underground resources such as limestone, its construction industry currently maintains a very low-quality level due to reduced production of building materials caused by energy shortages and the absence of modern equipment and construction methods. To meet the explosive demand for housing and infrastructure following denuclearization, the key to achieving a qualitative leap in the shortest possible time is to bypass traditional methods and immediately adopt advanced construction methods. Here is the current status of North Korea's construction and building materials industries. The structural problems of North Korea's construction industry can be summarized into 4 points. First, reliance on traditional on-site pouring methods results in long construction periods and unstable quality. Second, with the exception of basic building materials such as cement, rebar, and glass, most window and door materials, insulation, sanitary ware, and plumbing materials are either dependent on imports or are in short supply. Third, due to power shortages, the operating rates of construction machinery such as tower cranes, concrete pump trucks, and excavators are extremely low, perpetuating labor-intensive methods that rely on manual labor. Fourth, design, supervision, and construction standards deviate significantly from international standards, leading to immediate conflicts upon the inflow of foreign capital. Construction methods rely on cast-in-place concrete, and the aging of temporary materials, such as formwork and supports, is causing serious delays in construction schedules and safety issues. In terms of material supply, while cement production capacity is high, actual operating rates are low due to power shortages, and high-value-added materials such as rebar, finishing materials, and equipment parts are mostly imported. Although major cement plants, such as the Sangwon Cement Complex, with an annual capacity of 2 million tons, are in operation, the overall supply falls short of demand, and steel, aggregates, and finishing materials are also outdated. Qualitative limitations are a problem due to a speed-driven approach focused on exterior appearance. The quality of interior finishing, including insulation, waterproofing, electrical systems, and plumbing, has significantly declined. Construction quality is significantly compromised by speed-oriented construction methods that mobilize labor from the military and youth shock troops, a reliance on traditional cast-in-place methods, and shortages of cement, steel, and finishing materials, as well as power and equipment. Demand for housing, commercial facilities, industrial complexes, and infrastructure is expected to increase explosively upon the transition to a market economy following denuclearization. This is an estimate of new housing demand in North Korea following the transition to a market economy after denuclearization. North Korea's population is estimated at approximately 26 million, with about 6.5 to 7 million households. The current housing supply rate is around 70–80%, meaning many households live in multi-generational cohabitation or in poor housing conditions. The basic demand is 1.5 to 2 million units for replacing aging homes. Additional demand resulting from urbanization and industrialization amounts to 80,000 to 120,000 units per year, driven by population growth, the rise of nuclear families, and housing for workers in industrial complexes. As provincial urbanization accelerates due to economic growth, the total estimated demand for new housing over 10 to 15 years is 1.2 to 1.8 million units, averaging 100,000 to 150,000 units per year. We will estimate regional proportions based on population and industrial potential. The proportions are 15–20% for Pyongyang, 25–30% for the West Coast Nampo, Haeju, Kaesong, etc. 25–30% for the East Coast Hamhung, Chongjin, Rason, Wonsan, etc. And 25–30% for other regions and inland areas. As a housing supply measure, we are introducing the latest cutting-edge construction methods that go beyond North Korea's traditional methods. The strategy involves the full-scale adoption of the PC precast concrete modular construction method to achieve a qualitative leap in the shortest possible time. The fundamental principle is to realize the optimization of speed, quality, and cost through the mass introduction of PC modular and prefabricated construction methods. This method can simultaneously achieve speeds 2 to 3 times faster than traditional methods and significantly improved uniform quality. Meeting North Korea's construction demand using traditional on-site cast-in-place RC reinforced concrete and masonry methods would take at least 30 to 40 years. When obstacles such as a shortage of skilled labor, unstable supply of equipment, and annual winter construction restrictions of 4 to 5 months combine, the actual construction period is further extended. The PC modular method resolves these 3 bottlenecks simultaneously. In the PC modular method, columns, beams, slabs, and exterior wall panels are prefabricated in a factory, and only assembly is performed on-site. On-site construction time is reduced to 30–40% of that of the traditional method. Quality is consistent due to factory fabrication, and production can continue even during the winter. In Korea, constructing a 30-pyong apartment unit using the reinforced concrete RC method takes approximately 18 to 24 months, but it can be completed in 6 to 9 months using the PC modular method. This is a phased and regional roadmap for housing supply. The short-term period of 1 to 5 years is the stage of establishing stable supply and immediate supply hubs. 1. Immediately install PC panel factories for emergency housing supply. The first priority following the denuclearization agreement is the rapid establishment of PC factories. Companies such as South Korea's Sampyo Industrial, Unison, and POSCO E&C, as well as China's Wenlingter and CS-SIEC, will likely compete to establish PC factories in North Korea. Construct PC factories in 4 key areas: Pyongyang, Nampo, Hungnam, and Rason, Chongjin, each with an annual production capacity of 12,000 to 14,000 units. Construction will take 6 to 12 months, and the first product shipment will take approximately 12 to 18 months. The PC factories are designed not merely as simple factories, but as core nodes of a building materials industry cluster. By coordinating cement supply lines, rebar processing plants, and window and insulation production plants around the PC factories, material procurement logistics costs can be reduced, and the local building materials industry can be fostered simultaneously. 2. Immediately modernize existing cement plants. Cement is the basic raw material for all construction. Although North Korea already possesses significant cement production capacity, including the Suncheon Cement Complex 4 million tons per year, the Sangwon Cement Complex 2 million tons per year, and the Songchongang Cement Plant, operating rates remain at only 30–40% due to aging equipment and power shortages. By combining the technologies of South Korea's Esangyong C&E and Hanil Cement with Germany's Humboldt KHD Cement, we will improve the energy efficiency of existing plants and restore production capacity. It is possible to achieve an annual cement production of 10 million tons within 5 years immediately following denuclearization, which is the amount required to construct 400,000 to 500,000 households annually. 3. Immediately convert magnesite-based refractory materials and magnesium oxide (MgO) building materials to exports. We will produce magnesium oxide building refractory panels (MgO) boards by high-temperature sintering North Korea's world-leading magnesite. MgO boards are ideal as interior and exterior wall panel materials for PC modular construction due to their excellent fire resistance, moisture resistance, and durability. While China currently holds an 80% share of the global MgO board market, leveraging North Korea's advantage in magnesite raw materials allows us to outperform China in both price competitiveness and supply stability. Producing 1 million MgO boards annually enables simultaneous domestic supply and exports to South Korea and Japan. 4. Urgently introduce construction machinery and train skilled personnel. Massively import excavators, tower cranes, and concrete pump trucks from companies such as China's XCMG and Sany and South Korea's HD Hyundai Infracore. It is estimated that the volume of construction machinery required during the first 5 years of denuclearization includes 5,000 excavators, 1,000 tower cranes, and over 2,000 concrete pump trucks. Simultaneously, the Korea Institute of Construction Technology Education and Technical Colleges will establish on-site training centers in North Korea to train 20,000 to 30,000 skilled construction workers annually. 5. The total housing supply target for the short term is 60,000 to 80,000 units per year. 15,000 to 20,000 units per year in Pyongyang will be supplied by the Pyongyang PC factory to meet the demand for the extension of the Hwasong district and the redevelopment of aging areas. 20,000 to 25,000 units per year in the west coast regions of Nampo, Haeju, and Kaesong will be supplied by the Nampo PC factory, prioritizing housing for workers in automobile and industrial complexes. In the East Coast, Hamhung, Chongjin, and Rason regions, 20,000 to 25,000 housing units per year will be supplied from the Hungnam and Rason Chongjin PC factories, with priority given to housing for heavy chemical and logistics workers. In the provinces, 10,000 to 15,000 units per year will be supplied in conjunction with factory construction. The midterm period of 5 to 15 years marks the full-scale expansion of the PC modular industry and the stage of self-reliance in construction materials through mass supply and clustering. 6. Expand PC modular housing nationwide. After establishing the foundation over the next 5 years, install at least 9 PC factories, one in each provincial capital across the country. If each factory is set with an annual production capacity of 5,000 to 8,000 units, it will be possible to supply over 50,000 PC modular housing units annually across the nation. This will resolve half of the housing shortage with a cumulative total of 500,000 units over 10 years. This goal is realistic when referencing Korea's experience of achieving its 1989 plan to build 2 million housing units in just 5 years. Modular construction will be introduced in parallel with the PC modular method. Modular construction minimizes on-site work by completing room unit boxes containing facilities such as bathrooms and kitchens in a factory and stacking them like Lego blocks on site. The most realistic cooperation structure involves the transfer of modular housing technology from Japan's Sekisui House and Korea's POSCO ENC. 7. Establish construction materials industry clusters to realize regional specialization. In the medium term, the construction materials industry will be specialized in accordance with regional resources and industrial bases. The Pyongyang Nampo cluster will be specialized as a production base for high-end construction materials. It will produce high-strength concrete blocks for paved roads and plazas, aluminum curtain wall exterior glass systems, high-insulation PVC windows, and premium tiles and sanitary ware. The transfer of window technology from Korea's KCC Glass and LG Houses, as well as Germany's Rehau, is the most effective approach. The Chongjin Hamgyongdo cluster will be specialized as a production base for heavy industry construction materials. It will produce structural steel components such as H-beams and square steel pipes, large diameter concrete pipes, and slab deck plates. It will be directly linked to steel production at the Kimchak Iron and Steel Works. The South and North Hwanghae clusters will be specialized as a production base for eco-friendly construction materials. In conjunction with the Kangryong Green Demonstration Zone, it will produce recycled aggregates from construction waste, red clay bricks, and structural timber for traditional hanok. 8. We will implement building information modeling BIM, drones, and robotic construction by introducing smart construction technologies. In the midterm, we will simultaneously promote the digital transformation of construction methods. We will adopt a re-progress strategy, applying technologies from the outset that are 10 years ahead of what Korea introduced in the 2010s. We will digitize design, construction, and maintenance through BIM, instantly assess site conditions via drone, surveying, and maximize factory productivity using automated PC manufacturing robots. We will train IT personnel in the Yunjong High-Tech Development Zone to become BIM modelers and construction software developers. This represents a unique synergy point where the Yunjong IT Special Zone and the construction industry intersect. 9. Internationalize construction legislation and standards. Within 5 to 10 years following denuclearization, the Building Act, Urban Planning Act, Fire Prevention Act, and Seismic Design Standards will be comprehensively overhauled based on international standards ISO and IBC. This serves as a legal prerequisite for enabling investment and technology transfer by foreign construction companies. The Korean Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, LH Corporation, and Korea Research Institute for Human Settlements will be responsible for providing legislative advisory support. The total housing supply target for the medium term is 100,000 to 130,000 units per year. 20,000 to 30,000 units per year in Pyongyang will be supplied by the Pyongyang PC factory to meet the demand for eastward expansion. 30,000 to 40,000 units per year on the West Coast will be supplied by the Nampo PC factory to meet the demand for industrial and tourism housing in Kaesong and Haeju. 30,000 to 40,000 units per year on the East Coast will be supplied by the Hungnam and Chongjin PC factories to meet the demand linked to the Rasan-Chongjin-Hamhung economic belt. Major provincial cities such as Kangye, Kusong, and Wonsan will receive 20,000 to 30,000 units per year. The midterm strategy includes mass production centered on 4 major PC factories, building information modeling BIM design, modular standardization, and linkage of heavy equipment and materials in the military conversion industry. The long-term period of 15 to 30 years is the stage of leaping forward as a construction powerhouse and becoming an export industrialization. 10. Secure capabilities for constructing super-tall buildings and smart cities. 20 years after denuclearization, Pyongyang, Nampo, and Wonsan will be redeveloped into smart cities. New cities will be constructed that incorporate energy-independent zero-energy buildings, ZB, building integrated photovoltaics, BIPV, smart home IoT systems, and intelligent traffic control from the outset. In this process, North Korean construction companies will acquire independent capabilities across all fields, including design, engineering, construction, and maintenance. 11. Transform the construction industry into an export industry. PC panels, MGO boards, and magnesite refractory materials will be exported to Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. In particular, rapid urbanization in Africa and the increasing demand for MGO building materials will make it a key export market for North Korea's building materials industry. In the long term, it will also be possible for North Korean construction companies to enter overseas construction markets. Just as South Korean construction companies entered the Middle East in the 1970s, they can enter the African and Southeast Asian markets based on the price competitiveness of their construction workforce. The total housing supply target for the long term is 140,000 to 150,000 units per year. Pyongyang will be developed into a high-density, smart, and eco-friendly city. The West and East Coast economic belts will be developed into new cities with complex industrial, residential, and tourism facilities. Provincial cities nationwide will achieve balanced development and rural modernization. Long-term strategies include upgrading automated precast concrete PC factories, expanding carbon-neutral and zero-energy housing, introducing circular economy waste recycling, and developing construction models for overseas export. These are financing measures to realize North Korea's construction industry development strategy. Short-term financing will explicitly include the installation of PC factories, the modernization of cement plants, and the introduction of construction machinery in the denuclearization economic compensation package jointly supported by South Korea, the United States, and Japan. Housing development loans from the World Bank and the Advanced Development Bank (ADB), as well as the Korea Land and Housing Corporation (LH's) Inter-Korean Housing Cooperation projects, expanding the past Kaesong Industrial Complex Cooperation model, will also be utilized. Medium-term financing will be secured through private FDI in the building materials industry, such as a joint venture between South Korea's KCC and LG Houses, a virtuous cycle of reinvesting housing presale profits, and private investment via the BOT Build-Operate-Transfer method for tourism and industrial complex infrastructure. These are the optimal positioning principles for North Korea's construction and building materials industries. The most important principle is to bypass traditional construction methods and adopt PC modular construction as the national standard from the outset. This is the only historic moment where a reprologue of construction is possible, immediately applying the world's most advanced methods without relying on the legacy of conventional construction techniques. This choice is the most critical strategic decision that will determine the competitiveness of North Korea's construction industry 20 years from now. The second principle is self-sufficiency in building materials and resource linkage. By directly linking global resources such as magnesite, limestone, steel, and graphite to the building materials industry, we establish a self-sufficient supply chain that is independent of imports. This is the key path for North Korea's construction industry to evolve beyond a simple construction sector into a vertically integrated industry encompassing resources, building materials, and construction. The best approach for North Korea is to solve housing problems through rapid, low-cost supply, create jobs, attract foreign currency, and achieve regional balance. We must rebuild North Korea into the world's youngest and most modern city-state by making a leap in construction methods, bypassing traditional masonry, and directly applying digital twin-based modular construction. In terms of linkage with the building materials industry, we must establish a structure for the reverse export of specialized building materials made from sources such as North Korean magnesite, ensuring that housing supply becomes a driving force for economic growth rather than a burden of debt. Industrialization is required to export high-value-added materials such as high-strength concrete, advanced insulation and waterproofing materials, and smart glass. As a foundation for multilateral financial support, improvements to the land use rights system must be pursued in parallel to ensure the participation of the U.S., North Korea Reconstruction Fund, South Korean capital, and global investors. This roadmap will not only resolve North Korea's housing shortage in the shortest possible time, but will also serve as the core of a blue economy that transforms the entire country into a testing ground and export base for advanced construction technologies. Thank you.